Yesterday's price is not today's price, and today's price is not tomorrow's price. I've had to say that a lot in 2025 when it comes to the video game industry because it's definitely been an ever evolving landscape when it comes to the pricing of video games and video game consoles. Now, I come from an era where after time went on, video game consoles would go down in price. You remember going to Walmart and seeing like the wall of $99 GameCubes and stuff like that. And it was a completely different world then. As these video game systems came along, after a year or two, usually the components would drastically decrease in price point. So the companies could then manufacture the consoles for less and pass along the savings to you. That's how a lot of people got GameCubes, because they were so cheap and you had a library of exclusive games for it, it made it worth its value. But of course, that world was no longer existing. We don't live in that world anymore, and sometimes I miss that world quite a bit. I feel like the positives outweigh the negatives of that world versus the world we're in nowadays, but your mileage will vary with that sort of stuff. But I go back to what I said at the start of this video. Yesterday's price is not today's price, and today's price is not tomorrow's price. And I honestly feel like the Nintendo Switch 2 will go up in price in 2026. And I feel like I can make a pretty convincing case for it, so I'm trying to prepare you guys for it. So if this is your first time on the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like and share the video so your boy makes some money. Yes, I have a cut on my face. I was shaving and I messed up. My left foot hurts. I don't know what I did to it. I got a bunch of crap coming in from Amazon today to kind of help it out. It like hurts to walk. It just put me out of my misery. But the Nintendo Switch 2 came out at a point in economics where, I mean, I guess you could say it was historical for the United States, and of course, the tariff situation. We learned about the tariffs, and then of course, this was automatically implemented into many companies' business propositions. The Nintendo Switch 2 Direct trailer that we got showed off a price point for the system at $450 for the base system, $500 with Mario Kart World included into it. And then they also showed off some accessories, and then those accessories ended up going up in price after they were initially shown off because of tariffs and stuff like that. Now, the tariff situation obviously did play a role in video games and electronics and pretty much a lot of things across the board. But I never felt that that was truly the only reason for these prices on things. Like, tariffs aren't why Mario Kart World was $80 or something like that. That was a decision made by Nintendo for whatever reason to introduce the $80 video game as a standard video game. The price point of the accessories, okay, I guess I could understand that. But my problem with talking about tariffs and macroeconomics and all of these sorts of things is that when you simply blame it on tariffs, macroeconomics, and economic conditions in the marketplace, it definitely paints an interesting picture, because essentially what you're saying is, well, this isn't our fault. We didn't make this decision. This has nothing to do with us. It's because of the tariffs and, exchange rates and stuff like that. So when tariffs tend to change like they normally do, because, that's just kind of how negotiation tends to work sometimes, and the tariffs go down, you never really see that cost savings go over to the consumer or anything like that. So that was something that a lot of people were worried about. Well, how were tariffs going to affect video game console prices in the future? And we've seen companies do things with various video game consoles. Nintendo did increase the price of the Switch 1. Xbox has done 2 price increases on the Xbox Series system, and PlayStation has done similar things as well with a price increase of the PlayStation 5. But that's not the evil boogeyman in the world when it comes to this, because if this just was macroeconomics and tariffs and stuff like that, okay, that's one situation. But there is a larger situation brewing that pretty much is confirming to me that the Switch 2 is going to go up in price. And that's when you look at the world that you live in today. See, there is a reason that I said things like that in the earlier parts of this video. You might remember quite a few years ago we had a boom of cryptocurrency where people were mining cryptocurrency and making money. Now, the cryptocurrency boom definitely has leveled off quite a bit. Many meme coins have come and gone, and really the stable economic things when it comes to, crypto stuff is pretty much the stuff that was around before the crypto boom or that was thriving during the crypto boom. Most of your, fly by night coins are gone. People aren't really harvesting all that much sort of stuff when it comes to the crypto world. But you might remember the prices of PC parts were astronomical during that time frame, and they've kind of leveled out over time because not as many people are buying these PC parts. Well, you see, there's something else coming along right now that's already happening that is going to be way more damaging than any sort of tariffs and any sort of crypto boom. And that, my friends, is the AI boom. Look at what is happening right now with AI. I'm not even going to get into the human aspect of AI and, people losing their jobs, AI taking over the world. I'm just going to look at it from the business perspective. If you want a more unhinged look at AI and my thoughts on it, go watch the Steam Deck or the Steam Machine video from Monday and watch the end of it, because I kind of just go off the rails, and I may end up going off the rails in this video. But a lot of those principles that I talked about with the Steam Machine are principles that we're going to apply to this, because this is the most damning piece of evidence as to why the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to go up in price in 2026. Companies right now are ever expanding AI. AI databases are being built all over the place. A lot of places in rural America where it's just big farmland and stuff is being bought up by people, and then they're building these massive infrastructures of AI data centers. Now, not even mentioning the stuff about like power grid stuff and how that's going to affect, people's economic standings, because of not only the fact that, people are going to be losing jobs, but that power has to be drawn from the power grid, which is going to make power prices go up astronomically for people in those regions. You have to look at how you build those AI centers. What is the fundamental of AI? A computer. Many computers, many parts that are used now for video game consoles, obviously not everything, but many parts that are used for video game consoles are similar to parts used in these computers. So more and more of these data centers are going to be popping up, springing up all over the world. You're going to need computers for these data centers. Look at the price of PC component parts right now. It's not going down, it's going to go up, and that is going to have a direct impact on the video game console landscape, because these parts are similar to parts that are used within these video game consoles, chipsets, various aspects of it. And when you start to think about that, you start to realize the bigger picture here. All of this is going to cost money for entertainment stuff, and video game consoles are going to be at the forefront of this, because if parts cost more to get for these companies and parts cost more for these companies to manufacture, then that cost is going to go down to the consumer, because there's a higher demand. It's supply and demand. And with all these jackass AI companies popping up overnight and buying up all these components and needing more components and needing more this, that, and the other, that is going to affect video game console prices. That is why the Steam Machine, they haven't set a price of it yet. Why do you think that is? Because they honestly don't know? Well, yeah, to some degree, because yesterday's price is not today's price, and today's price is not tomorrow's price. They don't know how much these components are going to cost in early 2026 when they want to go to manufacturing. It's something that is constantly changing day by day by day by day. You look at the stock prices of these companies such as Nvidia and stuff like that. It's absolutely through the roof because they're all banking on this AI stuff. Never mind the potential economic impact it can have when the AI bubble bursts, because of course it's going to. Not every competitor in the AI sphere is going to be able to compete with this. But this is directly going to impact the Nintendo Switch too, because when you look at things like chipsets and stuff like that, what is using the newest technology? I mean, the PlayStation 5 came out 5 years ago. The Xbox Series X came out 5 years ago. Not to say that the Nintendo Switch 2 is, the most modern piece of technology, but things being used in there are indeed modern. Things being used within the system itself are indeed newer than what you see in something like a PlayStation 5. At least with the PlayStation 6 and the next generation Xbox console, they could set a baseline price based on what is happening in the economy and what is happening with these sorts of things when it comes to components of the system at the launch of the system. Nintendo just happened to launch the system during a tariff situation, and now with this on the horizon and actually happening right now, because things are not getting cheaper anymore. So what would Nintendo do? Would they raise prices in other regions first? Like, I'm sure they would, smaller regions. I think they've actually done like a price increase in some smaller regions, but eventually it's probably going to hit the United States as well. Because, I mean, that's their biggest market. Like, by far, the US is the biggest market for Nintendo, and they're going to have to make up for it somewhere. Could they offset the cost of it by lowering the price of games? They could, but then you get into the greed situation. Because why would you? I mean, people are buying these games at $70 or $80. Look at Super Mario Country Bear Jamboree sold a bunch of copies, over 1 million copies when the Switch 2 version was announced, and that was $80. I mean, of course, it's a dangerous game that we're playing. But I fully expect the baseline Nintendo Switch to go up to $500 in 2026 and $550 for the one with the video game. And I think that's being conservative, but hopefully that's all it goes up. But I fully expect it to go up. And it's because of this AI situation. It's because of these components that are being used, and it's just going to screw everyone over at the end of the day in so many different ways. But hey, you got your little Gemini, you got your little Copilot, you got your little Chat GPT and your Grok. So instead of Googling something, you could just simply use one of those things to get a faster answer. You did it, America. You did it, world. You did it, humans. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think of this in the comment section down below. Am I being too negative and doom and gloom? Because I'm not. Like, I'm really not. If you want to make a bet with me, and you're a high roller, make a bet with me, because I will put up several stacks, several racks, because I know I'm right about this, and the people that say I'm not right about it are just the ones in denial. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. I will get my crown and scepter ready when that price point goes up in 2026. Don't you worry your pretty little head. Hit subscribe if you're new. Feel free to share the video around. If you disagree with me, of course, that's fine. I hope this doesn't happen, and I hope you're right. I just feel like, I may be wrong, but I doubt it. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.